Hello, I'm here to help you relax tonight. If you enjoy it, please subscribe. Also, where are you watching from? Story 1. The footprints stopped at my bedroom window, but no one was there. I noticed them that morning when I went outside to get the paper. Fresh snow had fallen overnight, and the yard was completely untouched except for a single trail leading from the street, across my lawn, right up to the window where I sleep. They just ended there. No footprints leading away. Nothing. I stood there for a long time, staring at them, trying to make sense of it. Maybe someone had walked backward in their own prints. That's what I told myself. But the tracks were too clean for that. Too deliberate. I went inside and checked the window. Locked. No marks on the glass. No scratches on the sill. Everything looked normal. But I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been standing there, watching me sleep. I called the police, and they sent someone out around noon. The officer was polite but clearly didn't think it was a big deal. He took a few photos, walked the perimeter, and told me it was probably just kids messing around. They do that sometimes, he said. Walk up to windows, then hop back in their own tracks to freak people out. I wanted to believe him. But when he left, I went back outside and looked at the prints again. They were too deep. Too evenly spaced. Whoever made them had been standing still for a while. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept the curtains closed and my phone next to the bed. Every sound felt louder than it should have been. The heater clicking on. The wind against the side of the house. My own breathing. Around 3 a.m., I heard something tap against the window. Just once. Soft, like a fingernail on glass. I didn't move. I lay there in the dark, staring at the curtain, waiting for it to happen again. It didn't. But I knew someone was out there. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, then pulled the curtain back fast, shining the light outside. Nothing. Just snow and darkness. But when I checked the next morning, there were new footprints. Same spot. Same pattern. This time, though, there was something else. Pressed into the snow, right below the window, was a handprint. My stomach dropped when I saw it. Because it wasn't just a handprint. It was small. Too small to belong to an adult. Like a child's hand. I took pictures this time before calling the police again. The same officer came back, and I could tell he was getting annoyed. He looked at the prints, looked at me, and said maybe I should consider getting a security camera. Could be an animal, he suggested. Sometimes they leave marks that look like hands. I didn't argue. But I knew what I saw. That afternoon, I went to the hardware store and bought a motion-activated camera. I mounted it on the corner of the house, angled it toward my bedroom window, and set it to record anything that moved. Just stood there on her porch, gripping the railing. What is it? I asked. She shook her head. It's probably nothing. But I pressed her, and finally she told me. There was a little girl who used to live in your house, she said quietly. This was years ago, before you moved in. She went missing one winter. They found her a week later in the woods behind the neighborhood. I felt cold all over. What happened to her? I asked. Mrs. Holloway looked away. No one really knows. But her mother said she used to have nightmares about someone standing outside her window. She'd wake up crying, saying there was a man in the yard watching her. I didn't sleep at all that night. I sat in the living room with all the lights on, checking the camera feed on my phone every few minutes. Nothing moved outside. The snow was still. The street was empty. But around 4 a.m., the motion sensor triggered. I opened the app and watched the recording. At first, I didn't see anything. Just the empty yard and the window. But then, slowly, a shadow moved into the frame. It was small. Child-sized. It walked up to the window, stopped, and stood there. I couldn't see a face. Just a dark silhouette against the snow. It raised one hand and pressed it against the glass. Then it turned and looked directly at the camera. I dropped my phone. When I picked it up again, the figure was gone. The recording had stopped. But when I rewound it, the last frame showed something I hadn't noticed before. The figure wasn't alone. Behind it, barely visible in the darkness, was something taller. Something that didn't move like a person. I left the house that morning and stayed with a friend for a few days. I didn't tell them why. I just said I needed a break. When I finally went back, the snow had melted. The footprints were gone. But the camera caught something else the night I was away. The scratching came back, louder now, like whatever was on the other side knew I was listening. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. The next morning, I told myself I was being paranoid. Old houses make sounds. Pipes settle. Wood expands. I'd lived here for 3 years and never had a problem before. But I couldn't stop thinking about the letter. If you're reading this, you need to leave before they know you can hear them too. I started paying attention after that. Little things I'd ignored before suddenly felt wrong. Like the way my bedroom door would be open in the morning even though I always closed it at night. Or how the air in the hallway always felt colder than the rest of the house, even with the heat on. And the scratching kept happening. Every night. Always around 2 a.m. Always from the walls. I tried to find out who lived here before me. The landlord didn't want to talk about it at first, but I pushed. He finally told me the previous tenant had left in the middle of the night without notice. Didn't take most of his stuff. Just disappeared. That's when I found the second letter. It was tucked. Figure out where the scratching was coming from. I pried the board loose, and there it was, folded up and hidden in the gap between the wall and the floor. The handwriting was the same. I thought if I stayed quiet, they wouldn't notice me. But they did. They started whispering my name through the vents. I can't leave now. They won't let me. If you find this, don't answer when they call you. Don't let them know you're listening. My hands were shaking when I put the letter down. That night, I stayed awake. I sat in bed with my back against the wall and waited. The scratching started right on time. 2 a.m. But this time, it wasn't just scratching. There was a voice. It was faint, muffled, like someone speaking through layers of fabric. I couldn't make out the words at first. But then it got clearer. It was saying my name. Not my full name. Just the nickname my mom used to call me when I was a kid. A name I hadn't heard in years. A name no one here would know. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just sat there, frozen, listening to that voice call for me over and over again, each time a little louder, a little more insistent. And then it stopped. The silence that followed was worse. Because I knew it was still there. Waiting. I left the next morning. Packed what I could fit in my car and didn't look back. I didn't tell the landlord. I didn't leave a note. I just got out. But here's the thing. A week later, I got another letter. Same handwriting. Same yellow envelope. This time, it was waiting for me at my new apartment. It said, "You shouldn't have answered." But I didn't. I swear I didn't. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear scratching in the walls. And I wonder if the person who wrote those letters is still in that house. Or if they're somewhere else now. Somewhere closer.